43 years ago, our nation cheered and celebrated as we watched our national flag raised for the first time and heard our national anthem sung also for the first time to signify the birth of an independent nation. Some of you here today were lucky enough to witness that momentous ceremony at Albert Park in Suva. I remember that day differently. I was in class 4, and we were gathered on the school ground on the island of Vatoa. As we stood there, we heard the sound of an airplane approaching, and all of a sudden, this military aircraft flew over us at a very low altitude. We could even see the pilot waving. It circled over the school a few times and then flew over across the school ground and dropped miniature Fiji flags and pineapple-shaped plastic bottles of juice. I am sure that the older generation here today would have their own stories as to how they remember that day, the 10th of October, 1970. Today, we celebrate our coming of age as a nation. And as we celebrate, we remember and thank those that has helped shape the nation that we are today. We thank mothers and fathers for bringing up the new and future generations of Fiji. We thank the teachers for their tireless efforts in ensuring that we continue to have an educated society. And on that note, we all wish our teachers a happy Teachers' Day, even though it had passed on October the 5th. We thank our health workers, our doctors and nurses, for caring for the sick. We thank our religious leaders for helping instill high moral values to our citizens. We thank our community and traditional elders for their leadership and their wisdom that help guide the energy and creativity of our youth towards productivity and responsibility. We thank our servicemen and women for their sacrifices to bring peace to the turbulent places around the world. And in doing so, they have created international credibility and recognition for our small nation. We thank our law enforcement and emergency response agencies for their efforts to keep us safe and secure. We thank our civil servants for being the arm of government in providing services to our citizens. We thank our farmers for ensuring that we have food security, our construction workers for building our roads and necessary infrastructure. We thank those that clean our streets and keep our towns and cities clean and beautiful. We thank the private sector for their confidence and business acumen that has helped us maintain a healthy economy. We thank our sportsmen and women, the very people that bring smiles to our faces as they raise our flag higher and sing our national anthem with passion and pride. I make special mention and thank Mr. Ilyas and Delana for bringing home our first ever Paralympic gold medal. We thank the multitude of nations that supported and stood by us in our times of difficulty. The nations that allowed us to shape our own destiny, our way, and relevant to our society. We are now 43 years old as an independent nation. And just like any growing child, we stumbled every now and then as we learned to stand on our own feet and walk. But we have been strong in that every time we stumbled and fall, we would stand up and try again until we can stand on our own and now have grown into adulthood. And like any 43-year-old, we have developed our own national wisdom. We are now wise enough to understand that our differences, be it racial, religious, or otherwise, is not a barrier, but a blessing that we should embrace. We are wise enough to recognize that our youth are the energy of our nation, and that they can vote at the age of 18 and have their voices heard in the running of our nation. We are wise enough to call ourselves equally as Fijians, while we recognize the special place that the Itauke has and will always have in our nation. We are wise enough to understand that we are one nation and one people. Let me end with a few words to the students who are here. Please understand and remember that nothing in this world lasts forever. It means that your school days will one day end and it will not come back again. So do not waste this opportunity that you have to learn. Term 3 is always important for the internal and external examinations that you have to sit. Remember the 4 P's. Preparation prevents poor performance. So prepare well, study hard, and you should come out happy at the end of your exams. Invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I wish you all a happy and a joyous Fiji Day celebrations, and we pray for God's blessings upon our beloved nation.